Hey everybody, it's Gamalad, and today I want to talk to you guys about a game that Natsume had just announced, and that's going to be Harvest Moon: Light of Hope. This is, I believe, their fourth main Harvest Moon game that they themselves have created since Marvelous went with Xseed in localizing the Bokujo series, which was formerly called Harvest Moon and now called Story of Seasons. So that's your quick little 10-second disclaimer about how Harvest Moon: Light of Hope is part of a new series that is made by Natsume and not the original developers of Harvest Moon. So this game was announced today before in the eve before E3, which is something that Natsume has been doing a lot lately. I believe their other two Harvest Moon games that they've developed were announced similarly before E3 and then unveiled at E3. So before we get too far into this video, I want to read the press release that they gave me so we can get an idea of what this game is looking to be like. In celebration of Harvest Moon's 20th anniversary, Natsume Inc., a developer and publisher of family-oriented video games, and Rising Star Games, European video game publisher and long-standing partner of Natsume, today announced an all-new title, Harvest Moon: Light of Hope. This new game will encompass 20 years of spirit that has made the franchise what it is today, and will be available on Nintendo Switch, Steam, and PlayStation 4. This is the first time that the Harvest Moon brand will be on Steam and the Nintendo Switch. The title will be playable on both Switch and PC in Natsume's booth at E3 2017. In Harvest Moon: Light of Hope, players begin the game as they set out looking for a fresh start in new surroundings. During their voyage, their ship is hit by a monsoon and goes down. As they drift into a small harbor town, now in shambles from the storm, it'll be up to the players to help rebuild the town and save the lighthouse. But it won't be easy. Nevertheless, with some hard work growing crops, tending livestock, and gathering materials for repairs, players will be able to make new friends, start a family, revive the lighthouse, and save the town. Harvest Moon: Light of Hope will set itself apart from other Harvest Moon titles with its depth, including a robust story and clear-cut goals, said Hiro Mikawa, president and CEO of Natsume. We set out to create a SNES-type nostalgic game with deep and meaningful characters and events, and we are excited to have our fans play it at E3 and tell us what they think. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what the press release said and what all we really know about Harvest Moon. Oh wow, I forgot the name of it already. Light of Hope. Sorry, going back and forth between my notes and the press release. But yeah, that's all we really know. We have the logo and everything, but we haven't been given any screenshots or gameplay, so we're kind of in the dark on this one. The first thing I actually want to point out is the story sounds pretty good. I'm actually quite intrigued about the story. What I love about Harvest Moon is, again, the whole community thing, and I love town building. I enjoy a lot of city building games where I can build my own town and interact with the people in the town that I'm building. So being able to build the town and see and basically see our labor being put to use in the town around us is actually a really cool thing. And if it's done right, I can see this game being really engaging, at least when it comes to the story. That said, as long as the characters are there as well. If the characters aren't fleshed out and developed, it'll be kind of hard to see this really going anywhere. But still, I'm a bit optimistic on that front. But the one thing I want to talk about now is, will this game be in 2D or 3D? The game will be coming to Steam, Switch, and PS4. That said, the only 3D games Natsume has released would be Harvest Moon: The Lost Valley and Skytree Village. Their two mobile games, Seeds of Memories and their upcoming one, are 2D type games that are more reminiscent of the older games. So it's interesting to see where they will go on this front. The press release says they want to go back and recapture the SNES style of nostalgic gaming, but there are some things that are probably better left in the past, because I've always preferred the more 3D open Harvest Moon games. Granted, I say that while still saying Friends of Mineral Town is my favorite game in the series, but I just feel like this type of game would benefit more on a 3D scale, especially if town building and building through community is one of the bigger focuses on this game. It just would feel better to be able to view everything in a 3D scale in what I'm doing, especially because they'll be able to tap into the limitless potential of the PC and into more powerful consoles over the 3DS like the Switch and PS4. So I like to hope that Natsume will use this to their benefit into making a visually nice looking game. And it doesn't have to be, like super graphically intensive, so you can easily get away with more of a cutesy 3D look. I mean, the Story of Seasons series gets away with that every entry. Older Harvest Moon games in the GameCube, like Magical Melody, and the Wii games got away with that. It just has to have its own art style and charm that'll make it stand out against everything else, really. So the things I really want to see in this game, and I'm being a bit optimistic right now. No. So what do I want to see in this game? It's really hard to say at this point because all we know is the plot and that it exists. Like I probably said about, you know, with the 2D or 3D, I want this game to take advantage of the hardware that it's on and not be a cheap mobile game. That's pretty much all I can really, all I want to see at this point. Maybe, you know, see the farming mechanics, maybe see if they can improve on those from the Lost Valley and Skytree Village, because I didn't like the fact that crops only grew one time and had to resow them. You couldn't have, there couldn't be any constantly growing crops. Another thing I would like to see in this game is to have the Minecraft element either completely revamped or done away with. Considering how we'll be rebuilding a town, it sounds like the Minecraft-ish style of gameplay will return. This will be their third attempt at that, so I like to hope that at this point, third time's the charm, and they have an idea of how to go about it. In the Lost Valley, the 3D sculpting was kind of tedious to do, and Skytree Village took a massive back seat, but it was still there. So in this game, it'll be interesting to see if they keep it for the town building as you're rebuilding this town, or they do away with it and go for something more similar to A New Beginning or Story of Seasons, where you build everything on your farm and then you can place it where you want to build it. Honestly, I believe a game like this would benefit more if it did actually what A New Beginning did, where in Harvest Moon A New Beginning, you had to basically build the entire town yourself around the starting establishments. So I feel like that would benefit it more than, say, the Minecraft style, or what Story of Seasons did, where it became more of a backseat thing with town editing. So that's really all I want to see in this game. You know, either rework the Minecraft stuff or get rid of it in favor of town building similar to Story of Seasons. Have growing crops be a lot better, like, you know, have it make more sense, like not the one time and it's done. You know, some crops do regrow. And also, one thing I want to see is that the game has a bit more direction. Now, they are saying it to be very plot heavy, but I want to see a bit more direction, because in the Lost Valley and Skytree Village, the game was just kind of vague in throwing you out where to go, or kind of vague in showing you how to do things. Like, you had to go out of your way and talk to villagers several times to figure out, oh, so that's how to get mutated crops. Now, granted, talking to villagers is great and all, but I hope that the villagers in this game are enjoying to talk to. In Story of Seasons Trio of Towns, in my review of that game, the biggest thing I loved about that game was that every character felt full of life, and I wanted to go around town befriending everyone and talking to everyone, even the faceless characters, because they all had their own little stories to go through. In the last two Harvest Moon games, the characters have been very bland. I will just say that, to be generous. They were bland. And the choices of bachelors and bachelorettes were also a bit They weren't nothing groundbreaking. Their personalities that make me think, yeah, I want to date and marry this one, have a family with this one. They just felt bland. So I feel like what Natsume could do, has potential to do here, if they want to compete with the main Bokujo series, is to invest more in character writing. I feel like that is what Story of Seasons' biggest asset is right now, is the colorful cast of characters that they have. And if they incorporate that into this Harvest Moon game, I'd be really happy about that. So let's talk a bit more about a few things that are on my mind about this game. I am skeptic of it. It's more so that Natsume hasn't had a good track record with these games. That said, each one they've released has gotten better. The Lost Valley was a horrible game in my opinion. I'd never published that review of it, but I gave it a 4 out of 10. Skytree Village, while I never finished a Let's Play of it, it was still tolerable. If I were to review it, I'd probably give it a 6.5. It had its merits. It showed vast improvement over the previous one, but it didn't have that hook to keep me playing, which is kind of why I haven't updated the Let's Play in a while. I should probably do that before this one comes out. You know, let me know if you guys want me to see you continue Skytree Village, but that's like, you know, and then I've heard Seas of Memories was actually a really good game. Well, it was a good game for a mobile Harvest Moon game, and that's still impressive. So every leap that this series has, it's getting better, but it's not getting better at a good rate. I feel like they're still in the experimental phase with how they want to do things, trying to find their own niche that the Bokujo series that managed to capture, that they have to go out and find a way to recapture. So I feel like that this game may be even more experimental, especially if it's 3D. It may be very experimental with how they want to do things in this game, and what may happen, and what they, how they want to try accomplishing stuff, which can either lead to a bad game or an okay game with potential. Or in the rare cases, I could be blown away by it. I'm going to leave that door wide open. I will be happy to have my skepticism all proven wrong and have this game be flat out amazing, and showing that Natsume is listening to fan feedback and trying to improve the series, so that, there can be more than one fun farming sim series out there that can stand toe to toe with the main Bokujo or Story of Seasons series. And that ties into my optimism of this. I know Natsume wants to please their fans. They are really awesome people there. I remember growing up with Harvest Moon my entire life, and seeing how they localize their games. There's a lot of love to be had with them in these games, and so I'm optimistic that Natsume is indeed listening to fan feedback. At least I'm hoping they are. I could be very wrong, but I hope they are. And I feel like this game, especially with the story, could have a lot of potential. If this game manages to go out and tell a good story, the gameplay is refined, I feel like the game could be a good game to have on the Switch, PS4, or PC. If I do Let's Play it and review it, I'll probably want to review it on my Switch. Even though maybe my PC would be probably more optimal, especially if they have mod support. Oh man, mod support in a Harvest Moon game. That is not something I thought I'd ever say. But I'd probably more so either opt for Switch or PC. PS4, I have all my other games on there. I need to have something to play on my Switch right now, so it's either gonna be one of those two. So I'm optimistic about the game as well. While I have my skepticism, I feel like it's justified with the games that Natsume has put out. But as a fan of the series, and I know what they are capable of, I'm optimistic that this game could be something interesting, or a good foothold for them to branch out onto if they choose to pursue this series further in this direction in the home console market. It'll also be very interesting to see how this game will stack up against Marvelous's next Story of Seasons game, which I believe is confirmed for the Nintendo Switch as well, and not the 3DS. The reason why I say that is because with the main Bokujo series, every time the series goes to a new piece of hardware, the series does a massive change in direction. When Harvest Moon went from the GameCube to the Wii, we had games like, A Wonderful Life and Magical Melody, to games like Tree of Tranquility and Animal Parade. And when it went from the DS to the 3DS, we had the pixeled Harvest Moon-esque Game Boy Advance type games to the 3D realm games of A New Beginning, Story of Seasons, and Trio of Towns. So it'll be interesting to see how the game will stack up against the next generation of the Story of Seasons series. But still, I have my skepticisms. I'm optimistic though. I'll be sure to do a video after E3 once Natsume releases a trailer for this game, and I manage to see some gameplay of this, and talk to a few people who are going to be at E3 and have a chance to play it. I know I got invited to E3. I don't know if I'll be able to go this year because it was a very last-minute invitation, but if I do go, I'd love to have I'd love to have a chance to play this game and see for myself and to see, well, how it is. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this discussion video about Harvest Moon. Forgetting the name of it again, Light of Hope. Sorry, I had my outline up while reading this. So, yeah, leave a comment down in the comment section below. What do you guys think of Harvest Moon Light of Hope? Are you guys optimistic, or are you skeptical? And if you are, you're rightfully so. But yeah, I'd love to hear your opinions, and if you guys want me to do more commentary videos like this on different things on series that I like, whether it be Bokujo, Harvest Moon, Animal Crossing, Shin Megami Tensei, Persona, you name it, I'd be more than happy to do these videos. It was a bit of a rocky start because I haven't done one of these in a while, but I kind of found my groove halfway into this video, if you couldn't tell. I had fun making it, so expect more of these. Like I said, I will be doing a follow-up video to this once the trailer is shown and the gameplay is shown off. But yeah, Thanks again for watching, guys. Again, leave a comment down in the comment section below. I know I said that twice already. If you're new to my channel and you're just finding this video, hey, be sure to subscribe and stay a while. We'll have a ton of fun here together. And as always, everyone, this is Garland signing off.